All right, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Michael Ward from GMS Lake Charles Camp, coming at you again with another video through the Spirit. But before I do anything, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, who strive and taught us his truth. And blessings to you, brothers across 4 winds, pushing the truth and sincerity. Okay, the title of this video is going to be called, Patience is Key. It's not going to be a very long video, but it's something that was on my spirit, because being in this truth, we have to have patience, because we are faced with different trials, daily, and ain't no telling how long those trials are going to last. But while we're going through those trials, we must have patience and continue to call upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and continue to do the things that's necessary, to strengthen our spirit, that way we can endure, those trials that we're faced with. I'm going to start it off with this. This is Romans chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, rejoice in hope, patience in tribulations, continue instantly in prayer. Continue instant in prayer, right? And that's what we must do. When we are going through those things, we must continue to call upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, no matter what it may be. We have to call upon him and ask him, to direct our paths, to get us through those things that we're faced with, and call upon him and ask him to give us the patience that we need, to continue to go through those things, man. Those are the things that we must do when we are faced with, these different trials, because, it's just like playing a game. Once you complete one trial, another one is right around the corner. But this next trial is not going to be as easy as the other one was. These trials get harder and harder and harder and harder. But by you going through those trials, and calling upon Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, basically you see, okay, he got me through this one. So next time I'm going to trust in him again, and he's going to get you through that one, and next time, you're going to have to trust in him again, and just because, you got out the first one, might have been, like a week or so, doesn't mean you're going to get out the next trial as quickly. That's when that patience kick in. You have to have patience in this thing. This is Psalms chapter 34 and verse 17. This is Psalms chapter 34 and verse 17. It say, the righteous cry, the Lord heareth them. The Lord heareth and deliver them out of all of their troubles. Right, man? By us crying, we are praying to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, letting him know that we need help, And the scriptures say he will never leave or forsaken us. So by us acknowledging that we need the help, he's going to come through every time, come through and deliver us out of those situations. It might not be at the moment. It might not be as soon as you finish praying. It might take a little while, but eventually he's going to come. This is Psalms chapter 50 and verse 15. It say, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. Right, man? And when we call upon him in the day of need, he's going to deliver us. And by him delivering us, that's when we glorify him even more, because we know that it wasn't us that got us through those situations, It was Yahweh Hashem Yahushua who got us up out of that, man. So next time when we are faced with a situation, we're going to know instantly, to call upon him, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is in control of everything. So why not call upon him, man? He is the true power, Can't nobody else get you out of these situations, man, but Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. He can put the spirit on somebody to get you out of those things, you know. But we have to call upon him, man. This is John chapter 15, verse 7. They say, if ye abide in me and my word abide in you, doing the things that pleases Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, being brotherly, pushing his word, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Those are the things that pleases him. They say, ye should ask what ye will, and it should be done unto you. Right, man? So if you're doing the things that's necessary, when you are falling, when you being faced with these situations, and you call upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and ask him, to guide your steps to get you through them, to get you through those situations, he's going to do it, but he's only going to do it for those that believe. You have to believe that he's going to get you out of those situations, man. You can't just pray and then be like, if it happened, it happened. If it don't, so be it. No, you have to know without a doubt that he's going to get you through those situations, because those situations might look like there's no way out. But to you, it looked like there's no way out. To Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he has the map, He has the map. He has everything you need to get through those situations. But you have to ask for it, This is Proverbs 3:5. It say, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, When it look like there's no way out, trust in the Lord, Know that the Lord has a way, which he does. It say, lean not according to your own understanding. Like, damn, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that, man. That's impossible to do. Nothing is impossible for the Lord, So by you leaning according to your own understanding, you're going to fall every time. But by you casting all your cares upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he's going to handle those things, man. Don't worry about it. Don't let those things beat you down, Don't let the trials you're going through get the best of you, Know that, hey, you stay down, eventually you're going to come up, because the Lord is always going to make a way. He's always going to make a way for his man, bro. Every time. But you have to believe, This is Psalms 34:19. It said, many are the affliction of the righteous, but the Lord delivered him out of all of them. Right, man? Everything that we're faced with, the Lord is going to deliver us out of those situations, And then again, it might take time. It might take time. It might not happen overnight. Weeks might go by. But you have to have that patience, man. I remember before I got the job that I got now, I was out of work for a while, but the Lord was still taking care of me. I always had money, to pay my bills. I always had money for food. The Lord was taking care of me, and I just stayed down, until he found fit for me, to have what I have now, man. We can't be in a rush, to get out of the situation that we're in, man. Because by you being in a rush, you're going to put yourself in a deeper hole. So we have to sit back and wait for the Lord to move these puzzle pieces around, So, we have to be patient, man. We have to be patient and not so quick to react, But, there was something that I wanted to get off my spirit, because patience is key. And we all need patience, And the times that we are coming in, we're going to need patience even more. Imagine not eating in a couple of days, man. Imagine going, 3-4 days without eating. You got your kid crying in your ear. You got your woman all in your ear nagging, bro. You're going to have patience, man, because, when that shit goes on now, man, get out my face. I'm not trying to hit it, man. Move around. But where they going to go in that time? That's when that patience kick in, man. But with that being said, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who strive and taught us this truth. And peace, safety, and blessings to your brothers across 4 winds, pushing this truth and sincerity. You know, brothers, hold on. We're almost out of here, man. Until next